I want to officially call this meeting to order at 5:30 p.m. Regular agenda item number 2, invocation and pledge of allegiance. Mr. Perez.
Can please stand for the invocation pledge of allegiance. Our invocation will be from Pastor Amelia Elizabeth Beasley from El Mesias United Methodist Church. Thank you.
Would you bow your heads with me, please? Creator, Redeemer, Sustainer God, we give you thanks for this opportunity to make a difference in our community. We ask, O God, that you would surround us with your wisdom, with your guidance, and with your mercy and justice, that we would do good work this evening, that all of our decisions would be guided by your hand, and that we would do all things to glorify you and to do good in our community. Thank you, God, for your presence here with us, and I pray that each one would be blessed. May we appreciate what it means to be a community built on love. Amen.
Amen.
Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance is Leif Stroop from Boys Scout Troop 272.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation and under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Can we go get a picture with your bring whoever you brought with you.
Mayor, we're taking a picture later than
Okay, then we take it with him and with you. Come on. And the preacher,
Pastor.
the pastor. All right, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate honoring America.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you for honoring the Lord.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Take care.
Regular agenda item number 3, proclamation. Chief Dominguez. Is this the time?
I'm going to get you the pen right now.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. First, I wanted to announce our 12th annual Crime Victims' Rights Week event that we have this coming Thursday here at the Police Department at 5 o'clock. We start off with our annual walk, and then right after the walk, about 5:30, we'll have our vigil. And this year we're doing things a little bit different. We're having a number of our service organizations there at the police department to provide any information to victims of crime and the public in general. So everybody's invited. Again, it's this coming Thursday, the 11th, at 5 o'clock for the walk and 5:30 for the vigil. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas Americans are the victims of more than 20 million crimes each year affecting individuals and communities. Whereas providing victims with knowledge of their rights and available services further strengthens their ability to recover by restoring a sense of self-empowerment. Whereas this commemorative week celebrates the energy, perseverance, and commitment that launched the Victims' Rights Movement, inspired its progress, and continues to advance the cause of justice for crime victims. Whereas crime can leave a lasting impact on any person, regardless of age, national origin, race, creed, religion, gender, sexual orientation, immigration, or economic status. Whereas incorporating communities' existing experts and trusted sources of support into the efforts to fully serve survivors will develop a criminal justice system response that is truly accessible and appropriate for all victims of crime. Whereas unaddressed trauma from victimization weakens the resilience of victims and their communities, impeding their ability to withstand further trauma. Whereas engaging a broader array of healthcare providers, community leaders, faith organizations, educators, and businesses can provide new links between victims and services that improve their safety, healing, and access to justice. Whereas honoring the rights of victims, including the rights to be heard and to be treated with fairness, dignity, and respect, and working to meet where their needs rebuilds their trust in the criminal justice and social service system. Whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week, April 7th through the 13th, 2019, provides an opportunity to recommit to ensuring that all victims of crime, especially those who are challenging to reach or serve are afforded their rights and receive a trauma-informed response. Whereas the City of Mission is hereby dedicated to strengthening victims and survivors in the aftermath of crime, building resilience in our communities and our victim responders, and working for justice for all victims and survivors. Now therefore, we, the City Council, the City of Mission, do hereby proclaim the week of April 7th through the 13th, 2019 to be Crime Victims' Rights Week, and affirm the city's commitment to creating a victim service and criminal justice response that assists all victims of crime, and to express our sincere gratitude and appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. Proclaim on this, the 8th day of April, 2019.
Do I hear a motion to?
Mayor, I so move.
We have a motion and a second to declare this proclamation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The proclamation has been approved, Chief.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Ms.
Mayor.
Macias, for all your hard work and dedication to our clients of our town.
And the team that you see here is kind of at the forefront of, for this event on Thursday. Ms. Diana Macias, our crime victim liaison, Lieutenant Joe Macias, our lieutenant in charge of criminal investigation, and Robert Rodriguez from our COPS office. Always kind of at the forefront of all of these, and appreciate that and your hard work and support. And Mr. Hara here, can't forget him.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Let's take a picture.
Good job, Chief. Good job. Thank you for all your work. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
On that side, Mayor? Right here.
Please, smile, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling for regular meeting agenda item number 4, Chief Dominguez.
Mayor, City Council, come before you for a proclamation for Public Safety Telecommunicator Week, which is the following week. With me today is Sarah Salinas. She's our supervisor for our Communications Bureau, Sonia Alvarado, Jacob Rodriguez, and Javier Rodriguez. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the men and women who serve as public safety telecommunicators, such as 911 operators and dispatchers, are dedicated to saving lives. They respond to Texans in times of great need, and their specialized skills and calm, caring presence are invaluable to the Lone Star State. Whereas the Commission of State Emergency Communications works with local and state governments to ensure reliable access to emergency telecommunications services. To highlight the invaluable role of public safety telecommunicators, the Commission designates a week in April for an awareness campaign. whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers and firefighters by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information and ensuring their safety, and whereas at this time we encourage all citizens of Mission to extend their appreciation to public safety telecommunicators. Their diligent efforts ensure that help is on the way when our citizens need it most. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Mission, do hereby designate the week of April 14th through the 20th, 2019 as Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Proclaim on this the 8th day of April, 2019.
Mayor, I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve this proclamation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Proclamation is approved, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Somebody can.
We need to put some little indicators. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Calling for regular agenda item number 5. Ms. Carrillo?
Yes, Mayor, Council, good afternoon. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas there are more than 73 million cats and 68 million dogs living in more than 63 million households across the United States. Whereas acts of animal abuse, animal fighting, and animal neglect by way of denying basic necessities of care, such as fresh water, food, or shelter, are considered to be animal cruelty. Whereas enforcement of animal cruelty laws can be carried out by municipal animal control agencies, local policy, and/or by humane organizations that are granted power from the state or local government. Whereas the City of Mission, along with the Palm Valley Animal Shelter, the Lori P. Andrews Paw Center, support activities that bring people and their pets together in a safe relationship to educate the public as to the needs of their pets and to provide information on the proper care and treatment of animals. Whereas the City of Mission Adopt a Pet Program, Mission Possible Advisory Board, and Palm Valley Animal Shelter advocates for unwanted, abandoned, or stray animals and work towards the adoption of these pets to new loving families, and encourages the spaying and neutering of animals to reduce the overpopulation problem. Whereas the City of Mission commends the efforts of other rescue organizations such as RGV Low Cost Spay Neuter Clinic, Cinderella Pet Rescue, Forgotten Friends, Texas Rescue RGV, Recycled Rover and Friends, Yaqui Animal Shelter, Father Roy Snipes from Our Lady of Guadalupe Catholic Church, Mission Consolidated Independent School District, and Paw Stories for taking a stand against all forms of animal abuse and neglect. Now therefore, we the City Council of the City of Mission do hereby proclaim April 2019 as Animal Cruelty Prevention Month in Mission, Texas, and call upon all residents to report the abuse and cruelty of all animals to the City of Mission Animal Control Department. Proclaimed on this the 8th day of April 2019.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve this proclamation. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The proclamation has been approved.
Yes, Mayor, we've got our Director, Mr. Noel Barrera, and we also have Mr. Ernie Zapata here with us today.
Get you over here in the middle. Okay. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
We should just have a photo of us, like a photo, just Photoshop everybody in there. I hate taking photos.
Regular meeting agenda, item number 6, Ms. Garza.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The following proclamation reads as follows. Whereas today's libraries are not just about books, but what they do for and with people. Whereas libraries of all types are at the heart of cities, towns, schools, and campuses. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions where people of all backgrounds can be together and connect. Whereas libraries and librarians build strong communities through transformative services, programs, and expertise. Whereas libraries, which promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all, are cornerstones of democracy. Whereas libraries promote civic engagement by keeping people informed and aware of community events and issues. Whereas librarians and library workers partner with other civic organizations to make sure the community's needs are being met. Whereas libraries and librarians empower their community to make informed decisions by providing free access to information. Whereas libraries are a resource for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or social economic status, by offering services and educational resources that transform lives and strengthen communities. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Mission, do hereby proclaim the week of April 7th to the 13th, 2019, to be National Library Week, and encourage all residents to visit the library this week and explore what's new at your library and engage with your librarian. Because of you, libraries transform. Proclaimed on this, the 8th day of April, 2019. In the audience, we have fellow library board members, Elizabeth Garza, Jane Garza, and Linda Frazier. We've also placed a book and a flyer advertising library activities for Library Week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve.
I will entertain the motion to approve this proclamation, and I have a second. This, I open it for voting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The proclamation is declared. Do you remember you were my teacher? Weren't you a teacher? In Mission High School? Yes. Some? All right, Ms. Garza. Yeah, mucho gusto.
Thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for making us look at.
Where's mine?
She's the chair. She is right there. Yes. Everybody holding their book?
You want to put your book up in front, so.
Here we go.
Richard, really?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Congratulations. Thank you for all of you serving on our board.
Thank you, Randy.
Ready?
Regular meeting agenda item number 7 for a proclamation, Ms. Longoria.
Good afternoon, Mayor and council members. I have a proclamation, but before I read the proclamation, I wanted to extend an invitation in celebration of all these things that we're celebrating at this time. We have an event scheduled for April 27th here at City Hall. We're going to get all these departments together and have a fun fair for the public. And it will be games, activities, live music and performances, and we're inviting everybody to attend. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development implemented the Community Development Block Grant Program in 1974 for the purpose of providing local governments with the financial resources to assist low, moderate-income persons. And whereas the City of Mission has utilized nonprofit organizations to address neighborhood and human needs and has made a significant impact on our community through the funding of programs for youth, elderly, housing assistance programs, economic development, water, sewer, and drainage improvements. Whereas the City of Mission and other local governments have clearly demonstrated the capacity to administer the CDBG program to identify, prioritize, and resolve pressing local problems. And whereas the City of Mission adheres to policies set forth in Title 8 of the Civil Rights Legislation, further known as the Federal Fair Housing Act, which recognizes, supports, and encourages the right of every person to live in the housing of the individual's choice. And whereas said legislation was adopted in April 1968 by President Lyndon B. Johnson, prohibiting discrimination in housing practices based on race, color, national origin, age, religion, sex, familial status, and handicap or disability. And now therefore, we the City Council of the City of Mission do hereby designate the month of April as Fair Housing Month. Fair housing equals opportunity. And further, April 22nd through the 26th, 2019, as National Community Development Week, celebrating the success of Community Development Block Grants, proclaimed on this, the 8th day of April 2019.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve the proclamation, and we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. The proclamation has been approved.
Thank you. And with me, I have our Chair, Jorge Martinez, our Vice Chair, Lenny, members, Marla Flores, and Roxanne Sanchez Mendez.
Yes, congratulations. I also noticed that there's some board members from housing, from our other housing, from Mission Housing, and I think we also have from the other housing divisions. Would you all please stand up, since it is a Fair Housing Month, and those that are board members, and let's give them a round of applause. And if you could join us for the picture for the Fair Housing, because it's all an eclectic approach to getting housing affordable in Mission. Just I didn't come dressed either, so I'm helping.
I'm doing good. I'm in CDB. I didn't come dressed. I just come because I come to every meeting.
Well, I think this is a picture.
You the Charlie?
I come to every meeting.
You want some more on that side?
Yeah.
There's more.
Thank you for coming. You want to stand next to it?
I'll stand next to the flag.
Today? Probably go in here a little bit to the All right.
I'm glad you're sitting for your city.
Fair Housing Week.
Sure is. I'm good.
Agenda item number 8, report from the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Enriquez.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and City Council. So we are happy to report that the Chamber hosted a successful golf tournament, and we will be making a donation to Mission CISD Back to School Bash of 2,500 backpacks. So we're going to have 2,500 smiles for students. Moving on, our tourism, regarding tourism, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, the Robert C. Backer School of Business and Entrepreneur, they have selected the City of Mission as one of the 6 pillars. So we will be able to, so we will be showcasing the great industry that we have, so we can go ahead and serve as an example to the hospitality and tourism program at the university. So we are going to be able to display an exhibit of our customs, our tradition and history, including the Texas Citrus Fiesta, our Winter Texans, La Lomita, and our legacies. So those pillars will be displayed at the university tomorrow. This Thursday, we do have the Buenas Tardes luncheon, and we will be featuring our keynote, Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez. So we'll see you guys on Thursday. And moving on Friday, we do have a ribbon cutting, Sylvan Learning. We do have a Mission satellite office here, and it will be at 10:30. And we'd like to ask for those that can come join us. And next week, on the 18th, which is Thursday, we will be having a business networking mixer with Texas Regional Bank. And that's what we have going so far.
Any questions?
Thank you.
No questions. Thank you, Ms. Enriquez.
Thank you.
Regular agenda item number 9, departmental reports as presented in writing to you. Any questions directly to any of the department heads? Any specific questions? Would I entertain a motion I can entertain a motion to approve the departmental reports?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The motion carried, departmental reports are approved. A regular meeting agenda item number 10, citizens' participation. Ms. Carrillo, do we have a?
Yes, Mayor, we have Mr. Sean Downey, who signed up for his participation.
Mr. Downey, state your name and your address, please, and you have approximately 3 minutes to talk.
Thank you. Sean Downey, I'm at 801 North Bryan Road here in Mission. I'm the general manager and co-owner of 5x5 Brewing Company. We come before you today. We were approached, I'm sure you're familiar with what happened to Trooper Sanchez last Saturday. We were approached by the Texas Department of Public Safety Officers Association today to host a benefit concert at our location here at 801. We have been working all day today to kind of get that started. We have permission from the leaseholder to do so, as long as we go through all the proper channels with the city to make sure that, any kind of permits that are filed are filed. We understand it's a really short notice. It's scheduled for April 20th, next Saturday. And again, it's just for the seriousness of the issue with the family and all their medical bills that are going on, that we're raising funds for this. So we are just asking the city to, if there's any support that the city can offer, whether it's like tents or tables, that sort of thing, any logistical help that we can receive would be great. We have a lot of volunteer organizations that have already stepped up to participate as well. We know that it's at last notice as well. We have a conditional use permit to operate till 10 p.m. and we would like to see if there's a way for us to have that extended to 12 and then have a noise ordinance allowed for us to have that music going on. If that's not possible, we'll definitely stay till our conditional use of 10 p.m. But again, we just wanted to come in front of you. I'll let you know that this is going on. The community's really kind of come behind it. We're veteran-owned and operated, and we support all of the uniformed individuals, both our first responders, that sort of thing.
I would recommend for you to get together with our city manager. And I don't know if you had an opportunity to meet with him today?
I
or
have not met, I was not able to meet to him. I did provide a letter to his office today with some of the minor requirements that we were looking at.
And basically, if you could outline in writing what you're asking from the city, the specific items and so forth, and you'll make a determination, and I will open it to the council to see if we have to do an emergency meeting before the 20th to comply with your request. If they're appropriate to do, we will definitely entertain that through our legal to see if we need to do what we need to do to assist. It's a tragic situation that what happened to Trooper Sanchez, and basically our prayers are with him and his family for a speedy recovery, as far as that is concerned.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, thank you, sir. Any other person?
Yes, Mayor, we have Ms. Adela Ortega, our Social Services Director.
Okay, Ms. Ortega, state your name and your address and...
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah. 1310 North Francisco, Mission, Texas. I'm here today to recognize some wonderful people that has made my our Mission Food Pantry possible and over in abundance and serving the need of our community and of our people. With us today is Leaf Stroop, a Boy Scout from Troop 272. And then Thane and his mom, and her father, Thane, his father, Isabel, his mother, and also Fairlene, his sister, that is working on some compost bins, because eventually we will have a vegetable garden across from the property, across from our pantry. And then also with us is Jesse Ruiz, manager of Neighborhood Walmart. And the way that we got connected was all the media that we got when they vandalized our blessing box. And our blessing box, I Googled it, and it's the only one in the valley. It's not the only one in Texas, because I Googled it, and there is one in Big Springs, Texas. A businessman started it, and it went, now they have 12 all over their cities, and it's working out. It's meeting the needs of the people that need the food so they won't go hungry. And I would like to have Leaf say a little something about how he started it. Brad Benson is the one that introduced the family to me, because I guess he's involved.
Is Mr. Benson on
He's outside.
Brad?
the audience?
Yes.
If you could step up forward, Mr. Benson, please, and be recognized.
I gave him the idea, and he delegated it to a Boy Scout that could do the job. And he did a wonderful job, and I want him to say something about how he started.
So I started with this idea. My grandpa really inspired it. Way when my mom was younger, he used to take out these brown bags and fill them with food during Christmas time, and he'd pass them out to homeless people or people that couldn't afford their own food. And I wanted this to be a year-round thing for people to be able to support themselves and their family and feed themselves, because people have trouble. And I saw that in it's something that really it's a problem down here, and hopefully more will come. Hopefully people make their own. And that really inspired me, and I was glad that Mr. Brad Benson was able to show me to Miss Adela. And I'd just like to thank both of them for being able to make my dream possible.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Can you come forward over here? Can you come forward over here so we can take a picture, unless she's going to, I was going to say, unless people are going to address the podium. Go ahead and address the podium, sir.
Jesse Ruiz, the neighborhood market here at the neighborhood market. I was looking, one of my associates had brought it to my attention through social media and all this stuff. So I looked at it, and the first thing I said was, I want it in my store. I go, it's going to work. I go, no matter what. So I called Adela right away, and I go, I need one right away. She goes, let me see what I can do. I go, no, find me one right away. It's not what you can do. Tell me where to go pick it up, I'll go pick it up. So I went to go pick it up at the theater, I think. The Border Theater. And right away I put it out there, and I bought the food right away. And right away people started putting stuff on there, and it's been going ever since. So I already asked them for 3 or 4 more to make sure, so we can have it filled up for the.
Good.
Right, so
Thank you so much.
that's
Thank you for that,
my
man.
part, though.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Your sister's addressing us?
Hello, Mayor and City Council. As Charity said, I will be working on some compost bins for the food pantry so that they can make compost a lot easier. It's a lot better than buying fertilizer, I noticed when I did some research last year. And I'm hoping that along with the compost bins, I can make a training video so that they can use it a lot easier.
Right on.
Good. Thank you.
I don't know if you want to say something. Okay. If I could. Yes, Brad will.
Yeah, Mayor, before you stand up, Brad Benson, that, 2803 Cardinal Avenue. But actually, I only wash my clothes there. I live at 721 North Bryan Road. No pun intended. Okay, but anyway, no, seriously, I'd like to really recognize the family. I was with, I watched them grow up through Cub Scouts, and Thane and Isabel, parents, Thane and Isabel Stroop, they're very actively involved with the Boy Scout program, the Cub Scout program, the Girl Scout program. You give them a job and they're going to do it. They come up with their ideas and present it to us, and they're going to go do it. They're active with the Girl Scout cookie sales. They're active with community projects. Also, when we built a remote control racetrack out at Benson, on the west side of Benson Palm Community Park, they're out there painting the remote control stands and whatnot. But it was enduring days out there. It was a lot of sun and a lot of heat out there. But the kids and the parents were out there working as well. But I'd really like to recognize the parents for all that they do. But thank you.
You want to step up, sir, and address us?
Hi, Mayor, City Council. My name is Thane Stroop. I'm Leaf and Farrellyn's dad, and Kyla and Eowyn, and my wonderful wife, Isabel. I've had the pleasure of being with Brad for quite some time in Cub Scouts and in Boy Scouts, and he was fortunate enough to introduce us to Ms. Adela, and we just appreciate all the support you guys have given us and all the support that they've given us. And as a family here in Mission, we really appreciate the community. I know a lot of people give us a lot of grief for being on the border, but we're one of the safest communities in America, and I am very happy to raise my children here, and I'm very happy to support this community. So thank you all very much.
Yes, thank you. Congratulations. The kids, you too, you. Right here.
Trying was 721.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Get the cupcakes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Regular agenda item 1.0, public hearings, 1.1, planning and zoning recommendation, 1.1A, conditional use permit, Mr. Acevedo.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Item 1.1A is a public hearing for a conditional use permit to place 2 portable buildings for office use on property zoned AOI, agricultural open interim, to be used in conjunction with the construction materials storage yard. This is at an 11-acre tract of land situated on porción number 55 and being out of, or part of, lot 13-6 West Edition, Sharyland. The property is owned AOI and the applicant is VMK Materials LLC in care of Victor Garza. And if the council is inclined to approve this conditional use permit request, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On March 27, 2019, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this conditional use permit request. The subject site is located approximately 1 mile south of US Expressway 83 along the west side of Conway Boulevard. In an agricultural open interim district, section 1.361, subsection 3M, cites that a conditional use permit may be issued on other uses which, as determined by the Planning and Zoning Commission, are not contrary to the purposes established for this district. If approved, the 2 portable buildings will be used for a maximum of 3 years. An outside contractor will be using the site for a storage yard of building materials for this period of time. Once the project is complete or the contract expired, they will clear out the property. They are also requesting a variance. The contractor that will be occupying this site wants a variance to have a septic sewer system in place of the traditional hooking up to the sewer line. It is noted that there are no sewer lines on the west side of Conway, but they also have agreed that in the future, if there is such utilities in place, that they will abandon the use of the septic system and connect to the city sewer lines. There was no opposition during the P&Z meeting. The board unanimously recommended approval. Staff is recommending approval subject to the installation of a rock pit leading into the facility off of Conway, and these are the large boulders in case it's raining. We don't want them to be, leaving Conway all muddy. We're also asking that the variance for the septic system be approved, and that they, with the condition that they abandon the septic sewer system and connect to city sewer systems when available. We're also asking to reevaluate this conditional use permit in 1 year. Our city manager is also recommending approval. This is a public hearing item. Item 1.1A is now before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit? I don't see anybody coming to the podium, so I'm going to close this public hearing and open it for any discussion from any of the council persons.
I move for approval as presented.
Second.
We have a motion to approve ordinance 4781. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4781 is approved, and I'm opening public hearing for 1.1B. Mr. Acevedo?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. 1.1B is a public hearing for a conditional use permit renewal. This is for the sale and outside consumption of alcoholic beverages at Catholic War Veterans Post 1065. This is at 901 North Slayball Avenue, also known as 500 West Business Highway 83. Also being lots 7 through 10 of Block 150 of the Mission Original Town Site. The property is owned C4 and the applicant is Catholic War Veterans. And if the council is inclined to approve this conditional use permit renewal, it would require the adoption of an ordinance. On March 27, 2019, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing to consider this conditional use permit request. The subject site is located at the northwest corner of Business 83 and Slayball Avenue. This is a conditional use permit that has been in existence since 2003. The most recent approval came in March of 2016, at which time they were given a 3-year conditional use permit renewal. The hours of operation are Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. and Saturdays from 6 p.m. to midnight if it gets rented. It's not always used on Saturdays. Parking and landscaping are existing and they meet code. As far as the sale of alcohol, section 1.56-3 cites that lounges must be 300 feet from the nearest residence, church, school, or public-owned property. The City of Mission's main fire station is located within 300 feet of the CWV. However, the Planning and Zoning and City Council have waived this requirement in the past. There have been no known issues as far as any disturbances where they've had to call PD. There was no opposition during the Planning and Zoning Committee meeting. The board unanimously recommended approval. Staff is recommending approval subject to waiver of the 300-foot separation requirement from publicly owned properties, as has been done in the past, and that the CUP be approved for a period of now until June 27 of 2020, at which time the applicant will have to renew their TABC license and conditional use permit. Our city manager is also recommending approval. This is a public hearing. Item 1.1B is now before you.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit?
Is that the right square feet? On the side.
This is a public hearing. Anybody in favor or against this conditional use permit renewal? Anybody in favor or against the conditional use permit renewal? I don't see anybody coming to the podium, so I'm going to close the public hearing and open it for discussion by any of the council persons.
I'm going to approve.
We have a motion to approve ordinance 4782.
I'll second, Mayor.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Ordinance 4782 is approved. Moving to agenda item 2.0, consent agenda. I want to remind the public that the consent agenda, there's anybody from the council who would like to pull any of the items from 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and 2.4, you are welcome to do so. If not, I will entertain the motion to approve the consent agenda item.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, and for the record, we're approving resolution number 1594. 3.0, approval and authorization for a preliminary plat. 3.1, Mr. Acevedo.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 3.1 is a preliminary plat approval of Sherryland View Estate subdivision, being a re-subdivision of 28.555 acres out of Lot 204, John H. Sherry subdivision. The property is zoned R1, and there's a portion of it that is zoned C4. And the developer is Domain Development Corporation, and the engineer is Meldon and Hunt. This property is located at the southwest corner of Sherry Road and Business Highway 83, where the old John Deere site was at. 99 single-family residential lots are being proposed, and 3 commercial tracts are also being considered. On the R1 lots, they are requesting a 5-foot side setbacks instead of the typical 6-foot side setbacks. So there is a variance request by the engineer. And they are tapping into existing City of Mission water and sewer that are in the area. There are services both along Sherry Road and Business Highway 83 that the developer will be tapping into. As far as drainage, they are proposing a on-site detention pond on the south side of the subdivision that will bleed into the existing TxDOT system along Business Highway 83. The Planning and Zoning Commission did approve this preliminary plat approval. Staff is recommending approval subject to meeting the model subdivision rules, complying with the street alignment policy, paying the capital sewer recovery and park fees, and the installation of 5-foot sidewalks along Business Highway 83. We're also recommending that 5-foot setbacks be allowed instead of the typical 6-foot side setbacks, and that they include a plat note that the overhangs of the buildings will be no more than 2 feet from the property line. Our city manager is also recommending approval. Item 3.1 is now before you.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item 3.1. I'll open it for discussion from any of the council members. No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.1 is approved. 3.2, preliminary. Mr. Acevedo.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 3.2 is preliminary and final plat approval. This is for Spring Valley subdivision, which is a private subdivision, and it's on 9.95 acres of Lot 28-12 West Addition Sherryland subdivision. The property is zoned R1A, large lot, single family. The developer is M Construction Ltd. and the engineer is Javier Hinojosa. The subdivision is located at the southwest corner of Mile 2 Road and Stewart Road. 31 single-family large lot single-family lots are being proposed, and this is a subdivision that had been in existence since 2006. It was started back in 2006, and it was never finished. This past year, in 2018, the same owner that owned the subdivision back in 2006 approached the city and with his intentions of finalizing the subdivision. When it was first approved, I'm bringing it back as preliminary and final because he already had a preliminary approval. However, he changed the number of lots to the subdivision. Previously, he had 33 lots, and he made the lots a little bit bigger, and they brought it down to 31 lots. So that's the reason that it's coming with a preliminary and a final approval consideration. The subdivision has been built out. All 31 lots have been completed, and we're recommending approval. And we're recommending approval subject to meeting the model subdivision rules, that we allow the private street plat or street for this subdivision as long as there's a plat note stating that it'll be private and maintained by the HOA. We're also recommending that they pay the park fees, sewer capital recovery fees, which have all been paid. Our city manager is also recommending approval. Item 3.2 is now before you.
I have a question. Does it have sidewalks?
There's sidewalks along 2 Mile, and I believe there's also sidewalks along Stewart Road.
But in this subdivision?
Within the inside of the subdivision, not currently, but it'll be a plat note that there'll be sidewalks when a home is built.
Okay. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. So there's no sidewalk variance, right?
No.
They're going to be building the sidewalks when they build?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I move for approval, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 3.2. In this, I'll open it for discussion. Any discussion from any other council persons? No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.2, preliminary and final plat approval has been approved. And 3.3, Mr. Gutierrez.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. Item 3.3, Sixth Amendment contract between the City of Mission and BFI Waste Services of Texas, LP, doing business as Republic Services of Rio Grande Valley. The contract would allow BFI to continue to provide services for construction debris, and that includes roll-offs, unit bins, and compacting services until such time as the city is equipped to provide such services. The extension is for 1 year or until the city is able to provide these services. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 3.3. Any discussion from any of the council persons? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.3 is approved, Mr. Gutierrez.
Thank you, sir.
3.4, sir.
3.4, approval of interlocal agreement between the City of Mission and the City of Granjeno for solid waste collection services. This is to continue to provide residential trash collection twice a week, brush collection on the 4th week of each month. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve 3.4 agenda item. And this I open it for discussion by any of the council persons. No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.4 is approved for you, Mr. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Cesar.
3.5, Mr. Taraz, interlocal agreement between the City of Mission and the City of McAllen, City of Edinburgh, and City of FAR, Texas.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I come before you to present item 3.5, interlocal agreement between the City of Mission and the City of McAllen, City of Edinburgh, and City of FAR concerning the purchase of traffic control devices and equipment. The entities have agreed that Mission will serve as the fiduciary agent for the procurement of such equipment and to enter into advance funding agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation for the purpose of such procurement of equipment on behalf of the entities. The estimated total cost of the replacement equipment will be $956,000 with $300. The City of McAllen, Edinburgh, and FAR have agreed to pay the city match of 20% as required by the AFA. City of McAllen's share is $73,260.
City of Edinburgh's share is $61,000 with $20. City of FAR's share is $35,760, and the City of Mission is $21,220. Staff and City Manager recommends approval.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve
Second.
and a second. And this is open for further discussion by any of the council persons.
What exactly is our traffic control devices?
It's GPS clocks, controller boxes for the traffic signals, so they can be up to standards.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The $956,300 is the total cost, that's right, JP?
That is the total cost between all the entities, correct?
But
And will be
20%,
reimbursed through the MPO.
so if, say the city is paying 20% of that cost, or is there, because 20% of 956 is not 21,000?
Correct. That is the total amount between the four entities. So each entity, if you look at the
So you include Mission?
interlocal, is broken down into cities and into equipment. So Edinburgh's 20% share, it's 61,000. McAllen, 73.
Oh, okay, we're sharing the 20% of
Yes, that is
cost.
correct, yes,
Okay,
on the total amount.
The cities are sharing the 20%.
Yes.
I
So
get
our
it.
portion
total
of
amount.
Paying $1 million for it.
Yeah, okay. I just
Right.
wanted to be sure, because the math was not adding up.
Yes, no, we're
Okay.
sharing
So our
20%
portion is
between.
21,000,
Okay.
correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right,
Because the MPO's picking the rest.
okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.5 is approved, Mr. Taraz. And 3.6,
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 3.6, approval of resolution number
1595.
1595, establishing a commitment to participate in a Texas Department of Transportation project known as the Traffic Signal Hardware Improvement, and authorizing the mayor to execute the local transportation project advance funding agreement. Staff and City Manager recommends approval.
I move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. Any question from any other council persons? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Resolution 1595 is approved. 3.7, Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. Come before you seeking authorization to solicit bids for the purchase of flex-base commercial caliche for the Public Works Department. Flex-base material will be used for the daily street maintenance operations, including shaping, grading, road beds, preparing alleys and streets, filling and repairing street failures as well. Contract terms will be for 1 year with 1 year renewal option. Staff and City Manager recommend approval to solicit for bids.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve the authorization to solicit bids. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. A motion carries. Mr. Salinas, 3.8.
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 3.8 is the authorization to solicit bids for the purchase of ready-mix concrete for the Public Works and Parks and Recreational Departments. Ready-mix concrete will be used for daily operations to include the repair and construction of sidewalks, curb and girders, inlets, manholes, and special projects located throughout the City of Mission. Contract terms, again, will be for 1 year with 1 year renewal option. Staff and City Manager recommend approval to solicit for bids.
I move to approve the solicitation of bids.
We have a motion to solicit the bids
Second.
and a second. Any questions from any of the City Council? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.8 is approved. 3.9, Mr. Salinas.
Yes, sir. Mayor, City Council members, item 3.9 is the authorization to solicit bids for roadside mowing and litter removal services. Again, staff seeking authorization to solicit bids for roadside mowing and litter removal services along I-2, which is US 83, from city limit east to city limit west, and of course, FM 396 on Salduas Highway, south of US 83, all the way to the bridge. Bid includes labor, material, machinery, and equipment, and disposal services. Contract terms, again, will be for 1 year with 1 year renewal option. Staff and City Manager recommend to solicit for bids.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve 3.9.
Second.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. I have a question. On your bid specs,
Yes, sir.
make sure the statement is is placed and purchasing, that whoever gets a bid leaves the place in a clean, beautified area.
Yes,
Because a lot of times we've had people that go in and mow, and, with the wind and so forth, and they don't sweep, they don't do that. I want to make sure that they clearly understand that we're going to be monitoring that, because we have implemented a beautification committee, and these people are going to be out there monitoring on our behalf, as citizens, and just to make sure that they clearly understand that if you're going to bid in mission, that they leave it nice once they finish their job. Okay?
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
We'll let.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When you receive the bids, are the items itemized as far as labor, materials, machinery, equipment, and disposal services? Are those itemized items?
They're not itemized items. We do receive the bids, and it includes the roadside mowing, full width, which is a lump sum. We have the litter removal, and then we have the litter removal spot pickup through the expressway and through FM 396, which is on Salduas Highway, but everything is included as a lump sum.
And on the disposal, basically, you're talking about carrying things away
Yes,
from
carrying
the site
and disposing of the
dumping
trash,
them?
and yes, ma'am.
Do you think it might be a good idea to separate that, and maybe if we can allow them to dispose at our facilities, we could save a little money that way?
We can include it on the actual solicitation.
Yes, that will be part of the requirements as an option for us to include that in there, for them to utilize our in-house or within city resources to do that.
Just make sure that there is a cost effectiveness
Yes.
by doing that. We don't want to add more work to the department and then cost more than what we can bid out. Just make the budget analysis on it, the budget impact analysis, please.
Yes, sir, we'll look at the cost savings that entails.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a great idea, Mr. Garza. Just, any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.9, the authorization to solicit the bids is approved, Mr. Salinas. 3.10, Chief.
Mayor, City Council, item 3.10 is authorization to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council for the basic Peace Officer Training Academy, Peace Officer training and required training for all Mission Police personnel as required by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement. The MOU will provide training for City of Mission sponsored police cadets. Through the MOU, the Mission Police Department will be able to sponsor a total of 7 cadets at each individual academy at no cost to the student. It would also provide the required in-service training as per guidelines set by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement to our current 157 officers. Staff and city manager recommend approval.
I move to approve, Mayor.
We have a motion and a second. I have one question, Chief. The length of time of the MOU?
It's 1 year.
1 year? Okay. Is that good enough?
Yes, sir. Well, actually, the Development Council stayed back a year, and they had forgotten about it, so they brought it back, and they want it done every year.
You want it done every year?
Kind of based on the Commission on Law Enforcement, they're making each of the regional police academies do it on a yearly basis.
Okay. Because if not, we can go the 2-year cycle of the
Well,
biennial.
and I'll ask, but most of the time, the Commission on Law Enforcement is a lot more stringent now on requirements, so, and I think that's not only here as far as local, but throughout the state of Texas to the regional training academies.
Not a problem, Chief.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Take a photo, Chief.
3.11, January 2019 financial statement. Ms. Vela?
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. The January 2019 financial statements had an unadjusted beginning fund balance of $26,371,946, Total revenues for the period were $12,547,198, and total expenditures were $8,080,772, leaving an unadjusted fund balance of $30,838,372.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 311 is approved. 312, Ms. Vela?
Agenda item 3.12 is the authorization to award the fixed asset vehicles, equipment, and general inventory audit services. The City of Mission received 8 proposals on March 8th, 2019 for this service. Proposals received were referred to an evaluation committee of 5, and we were looking at an evaluation on the basis of technical qualifications, factors, and cost fees to perform the services. We deemed all proposals acceptable in accordance with the scope and service and evaluation criteria, and the committee recommends Records Consulting Incorporated. Major factors in our decision were the price, the experience of the personnel, and the experience with local references.
Do I hear a motion?
And Mayor, may I ask a question?
Let me put a motion on the floor first, either approval or disapproval.
I'll move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Martinez?
Yes.
And this I open it for discussion, okay, Ms.?
Where's this agency from, Miss?
They're from San Antonio. We actually didn't get any proposals that were local to the Rio Grande Valley. They were all outside of the Rio Grande Valley, so this was one of the closest.
And they're the most experienced.
Yes.
Thank you, Angie.
Do we have this on the budget?
We were able to reclassify funds to make this possible without having to come with a budget amendment.
What did you reclassify?
We reclassified some fees, some architectural and engineering funds that we had savings in to cover this. It's still professional services within the same category.
Thank you.
And I guess once we have the audit and it's in place, how are we going to maintain it? Is it something that...
So this could be done. I know some of the other local references did it annually, some did it biannually, some did it every 3 years. So it's just upon us how often we want to have an outside company come do a physical count of our inventory. That would be our decision to make.
I have a question to the city manager. Who's the city point of contact for general inventory services?
Yes, sir.
Who's the City of Mission point of contact?
So we do have a fixed asset division in our finance department that monitors our fixed assets throughout the year for auditing purposes, and so in conjunction with Angie and her department.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Perez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hold on. Retract. You had a question?
Well,
I want to make sure.
I'm just wondering, is there any way that we could, once the audit is in place and everything is accounted for, could our fixed asset department just go from there and maintain instead of having someone else come in?
You're talking about using the audit like a benchmark?
Yes, every year.
Yes.
So we don't have to outsource it?
When was the last time an audit like this was done?
It's been since before my time.
Before your time?
Yeah, and I've
And
been
you've
here
been with the city for how many
12
years?
years.
How many?
12.
12 years.
They do have an optional kind of like cost that's built into this that we can choose not to accept or accept, but that would be to roll in their software to have something like that, at hand all the time, so that if we do decide to do it annually, it's already in place.
I think that might be a good idea, something
Yes.
to look into.
That's included in the cost.
I was going to say, if it's included in the cost estimate, let's, seriously consider it, as part of the process,
Yes.
so. Any other questions?
No, sir.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Vela.
Thank you.
3.12 is approved. 3.13, Palmares.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I bring before you item 3.13, authorize staff to engage highest qualified proposer for structural engineering services for Spear Memorial Library and Museum roof design, and authorize city manager to execute contract. Staff received 8 proposals and found all of the firms acceptable. The evaluation committee, comprised of the city engineer, public works director, and Parks and Recreation Director, evaluated all responsive proposals submitted. Proposals were evaluated on set criteria outlined in the RFQ. After careful evaluation, assessment, and interviews, the evaluation committee deemed Chanin Engineering to be the highest qualified firm to perform the services as per Government Code Section 2254.004, contract for professional services or architect, engineer, or surveyor. City manager and staff will engage firm in negotiations for fair and reasonable firm fixed rates for design.
Mayor, I move that we hire the local firm that has over 25 years of experience and are from Mission, Hinojosa Engineering.
We have a motion to hire Hinojosa Engineering. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. And this I open it for any discussion from any city council persons. I did have a concern myself, that he did the estimate for us, and now he's coming up as, so it was just my concern. Do I hear any other questions?
Why are we changing? I mean, you're recommending Chanin, so why I understand Hinojosa.
He's not changing, you're all not changing your recommendation. It's not coming from you all, right?
That's not my recommendation or the committee's recommendation. All firms were deemed acceptable. We went through the evaluation process with the 3 most qualified firms, and we conducted interviews, assessments, analysis, and that's the committee's recommendation.
What were the firms?
It was, hold on, Rabba Kisner, Chanin Engineering, and Hinojosa Engineering.
So there was 3?
Yes, sir. The committee adopted a set number of questions that were asked at the interviews to each of the proposers, and that's how the determination was made.
You all did your due diligence?
Yes, we did do our due diligence on all the firms.
Yeah.
Who built it the first time?
That was before my time.
I don't remember.
I believe it was TAG.
It was an addition.
What?
The library, it was built, and then an addition was built as a partial, just not the whole building together at one time. But I don't remember who they were.
TAG International.
TAG.
TAG International.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron was our architect from Austin when he built the police department. When he sent construction with the construction company.
Yeah.
Because the library is...
I mean, I can elaborate on my motion if you all would like.
Well, yeah, I would like to have more discussion because, I mean...
Chanin Engineering is from the city of McAllen, and he has done work with us in our substations for both police and fire. And I think the chief of police is here and the fire, so we can discuss how those buildings are right now. Secondly, Robert Kishner is not from here. He's not a structural engineer. He's more of testing. And so I feel that out of the 3 that were chosen, they're top firms. They all met minimum qualifications on RFQs. And Mr. Hinojosa has 25 years of experience and is from Mission. And he has been trying to do some work with the city of Mission for many, many years. And I would like to give him the opportunity to do so.
Any other council person?
I would like just to go by the recommendation of the committee. I think y'all took the time to review all of them, and as a respect to you, I mean, that's why I would stick to my recommendation.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Plata.
Do you want to review them, or what?
And
That's fine, we can review them.
I'm going to be calling for a vote as soon as you all don't have any questions.
So the process is, a firm is chosen, and then you go and you negotiate the cost.
Yes.
Basically.
We can either negotiate on a percentage-wise based on estimated construction cost, or on a firm fixed rate.
Okay.
Do we already have the cost?
When do you make that decision?
Once formal approval is given to the committee and to city manager to engage the firm to negotiate with them.
But how do we know how much is that going to cost us? Or, I mean, what would be the negotiation? I would like to know before.
The negotiation would be based on historical costs that we paid out on previous projects, taking into consideration the inflation, PPI, those.
So at this time, we don't know how much and how much they're going to charge.
No, we
But
don't.
once we give you the approval, we pretty much don't have a say-so, am I correct?
Once you give us the approval, we can engage them for the costs associated with the design, and we can bring it back for council approval as well.
Because my understanding is that Chanin Engineering had already done some of the preliminary work, and I'm sure that would be a cost savings to us.
Yes, they did a library roof assessment back in March 2017, and we paid $7,500 for that assessment. They did a thorough assessment of the entire structure at the library and at the museum as well to get a preliminary scope of the condition of the buildings.
Can we have the cost, maybe since they are pretty much all professional, and I mean, and what about, on the cost? What about if one charges more than the other? I mean, we would want to go with the lowest responsible bidder.
In professional services, it doesn't allow, the government code doesn't allow for us to base it on lowest price. It's on their qualifications.
But they're all qualified, no?
Yes, they're all qualified. They were found by the committee to be deemed qualified to do the design and the specs for the building, for the roofs.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay. Motion passes 3-2. 3.13, Mr. Velasco. We call it for 3.14, Mr. Sanchez.
Mayor, Council, I'm here before you to present item 314 for an amendment to Exhibit B and the interlocal agreement between the City of Mission and the Hidalgo County for rural emergency services. The Mission Fire Department is seeking approval for the amendment of Exhibit B to the international agreement with the Hidalgo County for rural emergency services for unincorporated areas. The Hidalgo County Commission Courts approved the amended interlocal agreement in their March 12, 2019 meeting. Staff and City Manager recommend approval.
I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and second, and this I open it for discussion. Mr. Plata, you have the floor.
What are the changes?
When you approved it in December 17, 2018, we presented a pay plan for 3 consecutive years, starting from 2019 calendar year, 2020, and 2021. The 2019, if you can see your exhibit, did not change between the 3 categories. Now, for the calendar years for 2020 and 21, they increased from an average of $50 to $100 between categories. There's just, it was a clerical error between all the presentations that from the Hidalgo County administration, and it was found and they corrected it.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to, that's a motion.
We already have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries, the interlocal is approved. 3.15, Mr. Arevalo.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I bring before you item 3.15, authorization to release all children's nutrition program from the child care food program with the Boys and Girls Club of Mission and enter into agreement with RGV Read and Feed. All children's nutrition was providing meals daily to the Boys and Girls Club after school program. The City of Mission received a letter from the Texas Department of Agriculture, Food and Nutrition, the program who funds program releasing all children nutrition from the agreement. Therefore, the Boys and Girls Club required qualifications from all the eligible Rio Grande Valley Nutrition Programs approved agencies as recommended by the Texas Department of Agriculture. There is no cost to the city for this nutrition service. Meals will be served to club members on a daily basis. After evaluation of 9 agencies, the Youth Advocacy Board, which is a Boys and Girls Club board, is recommending to enter into a 1-year agreement with RGV Reading Feed.
Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval.
Do we have a motion? Do I hear a second?
And Mayor, I have a couple of questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Is the representation here?
Yes, he's here.
Can he be called forward?
Yes, he's coming.
And the board members also, they're back there. Hi, Mr. Guajardo, how are you?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council.
Good evening. I just have a couple of questions. So this is no cost to the city. You get reimbursed from the state.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I know that our board of the Boys and Girls Club did the due diligence to interview 9 other companies. What sets you apart from all those other agencies?
Well, I do not really know what set me apart, but I know what sets us apart is that we have a track record of doing business with other local entities, and I've been doing myself this for the past 5 years, and with the RGV Reading Feed for the past 2 years.
Okay, I think Albert can, yes, please.
What set him apart was that they will provide meals year-round through the school districts when they're on break, for spring break, when they're on Christmas break. This company was the only one that was willing to provide, to continue to provide meals, and that's what boosted them to the top, and that is why we recommend, and we're in agreement for recommending them as the company to go with.
Okay, thank you, Albert.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
For the record, I abstain.
3-1.
Just for the record, I abstain.
It's 3-1.
I am currently a part-timer for the city of Peñitas, and Mr. Guajardo is a city councilman in the city of Peñitas. So I'm abstaining for the vote.
3 yeses, 1 no, 1 abstention.
Of course, I already announced my retirement from the city of Peñitas effective May the 31st, so FYI. Motion carries. Mr. Arevalo, you're authorized to release.
Thank you.
3.16, Mr. Cardoza.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Item 3.16 is the authorization to enter into a memorandum of understanding between the City of Mission and the American Red Cross. The purpose of this agreement is to define the work between the American Red Cross and the City of Mission in preparing to, responding to, and recovering from disasters. This MOU provides a framework for cooperation and support in assisting individuals, families, and the community who have or could have been impacted by a disaster. It also provides a description of readiness, response activities such as planning, training, exercising, and resources. Staff and City Manager recommend approval. Item 3.16 is now before you.
I move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 3.16, you're authorized to enter into MOU.
Thank you.
3.17, rescheduled April the 22nd, 2019. Ms. Carrillo.
Yes, Mayor, Council. This item is rescheduled April 22nd, 2019, City Council meeting to Tuesday, April 23rd of 2019. And this is just due to Monday, April 22nd being Easter Monday. The city will be open, but we're requesting to reschedule the meeting.
Do I hear a motion to reschedule April 22nd?
Move to approve.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Any questions on the rescheduling? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
What time? Thank you. 5:30?
5:30?
Yes, 5:30, same time.
You were okay with that?
On what?
On 5:30?
April the 22nd? Do we have a conflict? Or?
I understood that there was a conflict. Yeah, RMA.
The RMA.
Oh, it's a Tuesday at the Army.
Yeah, oh yes, correct. That's correct. The time was 7 p.m.
The Army?
No, the RMA is 5:30.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
our
7 p.m.,
meeting
that's
is at
correct.
7 p.m.
Yes.
At 7?
I stand corrected for the record, 7 PM.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garza, for reminding me about that. We have a
Sure.
presentation to make to the RMA at 5:30, so
So our city council meeting will be at 7?
at 7 PM. Since we rescheduled it at 5:30, if not, we can go back and keep it at,
They can go take a nap and come back to work?
that's correct,
Okay.
unless you can join us at the RMA.
Have it at noon.
Call agenda item number 4.0 is unfinished business. We have none. So I move to 5.0, routine matters. 5.1, Mr. City Manager, comments, Mr. Pettis?
Yes, Mayor, I just wanted to announce, as we mentioned through our social media and our website, that the City of Mission was submitted the application for the All-America City, and we're selected as one of the finalists of 20 in the country, and so I just wanted to make the public aware and make everyone think.
Good job.
Thank you.
Mr. Pettis. With me, I just want to make sure that we openly assist and help the Trooper Sanchez in whatever we can. I know Mission Heroes is doing an emergency meeting on Wednesday to see if they can support also. You know, it's unfortunate what happened, you know, but basically all our law enforcement officers and all our public servants and our first responders, whether they're police, fire, EMS, you know, you never know when this type of situation is going to occur. When seconds count, so does life matters. You know, I just want to make sure. So our prayers are with him and his family. Without further ado, 5.3 City Council comment. Mr. Martinez, we'll start with you.
No comments.
Ms. Garza?
I just want to thank staff for these awesome
Oh, yeah.
maps. These are,
Pues,
I've been involved with P&Z for many, 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 many years, and this is the first time that we get something like this. Very nice. Thank you.
Don't know where you got the idea from, sir.
Good job.
Mr. Plata?
No comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Plata. Ms. Ochoa?
I just want to make a comment. The mayor has started that he wants research because he wants to bring festivals into the city of Mission, and I think he wants to bring like 4. And so I am on a committee to go and see different places in Texas. And so this weekend I went to visit Poteet, Texas, to the Strawberry Festival. That was really interesting. I think that we have tremendous support here in our beautiful city, that we can start having some wonderful festivals. I ran into a lady that's in charge of all the festivals in the whole state of Texas, and she actually lives in Mission.
Wow.
And so she's going to help us out. I would like to extend an invitation to anybody in the audience or anybody that's watching us now. They would like to participate in helping with ideas on what you would like to call this festival. Over there at Strawberries, it was really neat. Everybody got really involved, and I saw a lot of people from the Rio Grande Valley, and so I would like to have something in that nature. And so, yeah, it's really exciting. Thank you, Mayor, for that idea.
Thank you.
That's all. God bless everybody.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Ochoa.
You're welcome.
I will entertain a motion for 6.0 executive session pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.001. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move to.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Executive session. I will entertain a motion to come back from executive session pursuant to VTCA Government Code Section 551.001.
I'll move to recommend.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to reconvene an executive session, so we are reconvened. I will call for 6.1 A. No action?
I understand there'd be no action on A and B.
Correction. A and B, no action. And call for 6.2, 6.2A.
I think for, well, actually for all three of those,
what was discussed was that to authorize the city manager and the mayor the authority to negotiate and submit counteroffers as discussed.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second as to approve 6.2A, B, and C as delineated by our city attorney. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We'll call for 6.3A.
I understand that the motion would be to authorize to non-renew the employment agreement with the Associate Municipal Court Judge, Mr. Horacio Peña Jr.
Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a motion?
To now renew the agreement? Yeah, I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion. Can you clarify the motion?
Could you repeat it?
Want me to review the motion again? I think it was to not renew the appointment of Mr. Horacio Peña Jr. as a municipal judge.
Is that your motion, Mr. Plata?
Yes, Mayor.
Do I hear a second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second, and this I open it for further discussion, if any discussion is being made by any of the city council. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, which I'm voting against, I'm a nay, for the record. Motion carries. 6.3, item number B.
Motion to employ Mr. Guillermo Samuel Trevino as city attorney and authorize the city manager to negotiate a contract.
I move to make a motion to employ Guillermo Trevino and for our city manager to negotiate the contract.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I open it for further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, I'm voting against the appointment of the city attorney. For the record. Motion passes. 7.0, do I hear a motion?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Adjournment